So let's just move back here and just talk about the very beginning of most people's careers. A lot of our listeners are pretty early on. They haven't made their first dollar, or they haven't made their first $1,000. They're still pretty in the early phases, and they are probably in this first phase. They're in the imitation phase. And I think it's worth addressing because, like I said, most people I know that are successful now started out that way, including you and I. And I think it's worth talking about, when is this okay and when is it not okay? Where's the limit when it comes to just imitating or ripping off other people in the music world?
Well, I think this comes back ultimately to an even deeper issue at hand here than your career as an audio engineer. I think it really comes back to what is art, what is an artist, and what is good art. And like, these are really important questions that we can only gloss over. You could have a whole podcast dedicated to this, and I'm sure there are many. But the fascinating thing here is that you ultimately have to consider what is art. And when you're imitating and you are, much more in student mode, that's all well and that's fine. Man, this is tough. Yeah, I think you have to beg the question, when you're just imitating, are you making art?
I would say no. I mean, honestly, there's some creativity with it, but I don't think you're making art. And I think that's the trap that people get into, is they're so focused on achieving the exact mix or the exact sound with a songwriting session or the exact sound of an instrument or the exact tone of a guitar or whatever it is they're trying to achieve. They're looking for getting that exact replicated sound instead of focusing on what the best sound is for that specific project. And it's way easier, and there's a reason that people do this, is because it's way easier to simply rip off what your favorite thing is. It's way easier to do that than to decide and have the creativity to figure out what is the truly best sound for that specific artist. Two completely different things. And if you never get out of this phase, you never really reap the rewards that come with doing audio full time. And that is the reward of not just money, but creating great art. And if you're stuck just ripping people off, you're never creating great art.